Good morning, students. So this is physics for class 11 students, chapter number 7 and lecture number 2. So let us start with the lecture. So today we'll be learning about cross product or vector product. Okay, earlier you have learned about dot product of vectors, which was denoted by A dot B, and the formula was AB cos theta. Today we'll be learning about cross product, which is denoted by a cross. So we will see what is A cross B. Okay, so the formula for A cross B is AB sin theta n cap. Okay, so this means, see, from a dot product, the answer comes to be a scalar quantity. But as you can see here, in answer you have a unit vector. Therefore, you can say the answer of a cross product is also a vector quantity. Okay, so now as you know, A and B are nothing but magnitudes of A and B. Theta is the angle between A and B, and n cap is a unit vector perpendicular to the plane of A and B. That is, suppose if I am saying A cross B is equals to C. So this means that C is perpendicular to A as well as perpendicular to B. That is, if in any question you are asked to calculate a vector which is perpendicular to A as well as to B, then you can just do the cross product of A and B and the answer will be perpendicular to both of them. Okay. Now, how to see the direction of a dot product? So to calculate direction of a dot product, we use right hand thumb rule. Okay, so that means we have to use our right hand. Okay, so how to apply right hand thumb rule, or you can simply say it RHT rule. See, if you want to calculate the direction of A cross B, then what you do, just put your fingers in the direction of A and curl your fingers towards B. Okay, your fingers are towards A, you will be curling towards B, then your thumb will give the direction of C. That is the answer of A cross B. For example, look here. So if I suppose direction of vector A is this and direction of vector B is this, and you are asked to calculate what will be the direction of A cross B. So as I told you, you have to put your fingers towards A. Okay, so now look at here. See, my fingers are towards A. I am curling towards B. So my thumb is pointing upwards. My fingers are towards A. I am curling towards B and my thumb is upwards. That means in this case, the direction of A cross B will be upwards. Similarly, now you take it as A and this is B and then try to see what is the direction of A and B. That will come to be downwards. Okay. Take this as A, this as B and try to see the direction yourself. Okay. So this was about the magnitude, how to calculate A cross B and how to see the direction. Now let us take some example. As it was told you, I dot I is 1, J dot J is 1. Similarly, we have formulas for cross product also. Okay, so I cross I. As you know, the angle between them is 0 degrees. So the formula is A dot B sin theta. And as you know, sin 0 is 0. That means I cross I is 0. J cross J is also 0. And K cross K is also 0. Okay, so this was the formula when we have same vectors. Now suppose if you have I cross J. So how to calculate I cross J, J cross A or K cross I? You have a very simple method. Just write down I, J and K like this and rotate them in clockwise direction. So these arrows are going in clockwise direction. Now simply I cross J will be equal to K. See this. K cross I will be equal to J. K cross I equal to J and J cross K will be equal to I, right? Now this was about clockwise direction. If suppose any cross product is given to you in anti-clockwise direction, for example J cross I. J cross I is opposite, therefore the answer will come to be minus K. Similarly, if you have K cross J, again K cross J is opposite, so answer will come to be minus I. And similarly for I cross K, it is also in opposite direction, the answer will come to be minus J cap. And as you can see in all of these, see K is Z axis, I is X axis and J is nothing but Y axis. That means the answer of the cross product is perpendicular to A as well as B vector. You can see in all of these. Okay, so this is the how to calculate cross product of I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay. Now, suppose if you are given two vectors, A which is ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap, and B which is bx I cap plus by j cap and plus bz k cap. If you have to calculate the cross product of these vectors, so just A cross B will be written like this, A cross B. Okay, now we will just simply multiply as we do in brackets, right? So this one will be multiplied by this, then this, then this. Okay, so when you will multiply this by this, see, I cross I is 0, so answer for this will be 0. Now ax I cap cross by j cap, so I cross j is k cap, as I told you earlier, so answer will be ax by k cap. Now for ax I cap cross bz k cap, again I cross k is minus j, so answer will be ax bz minus j cap. Similarly do for this one, ay j cap cross bx I cap, so ay bx, j cross I is minus k. Again j cross j will be 0 and j cross k will be I cap. So ay bz I cap. Similarly you can do for this one also, you will get these two terms. Okay. Now from these 6 vectors, if I take I cap to be common from this one and this one, so I'll be left with ay bz minus az by plus k cap common, then ax by minus ay bx plus j cap common, then az bx minus ax bz. So this is the general formula for which we can use A cross B. Suppose if you are given the components, then you can put the components and you can calculate the value of A cross B. Okay students, so this was all about cross product. I have told you this because it will the cross product is very important in your rotational motion chapter. Okay, now let us relate the terms of linear motion and rotational motion. For example, see here, as you know, displacement in linear motion is either denoted by x or s, but to denote displacement in rotational motion, see, if you are rotating, what is changing? Angle is changing. If you are rotating in a circle, angle is changing. That means here in rotational motion, displacement is denoted by theta. As you know, velocity in linear momentum is denoted by v, but velocity in rotational motion is denoted by omega, and this is called angular velocity. So this is your linear displacement, this is your angular displacement, this is your linear velocity, and this is your angular velocity. Okay. Similarly, acceleration or you can say linear acceleration is denoted by a, but angular acceleration is denoted by alpha. Force or torque. See, force is denoted by F in linear motion, but generally in rotational motion, torque is important. Okay, that we'll be discussing further. So torque is denoted by tau in rotational motion. Okay, so this denotes your torque. Momentum. In linear motion, linear momentum is denoted by P, but angular momentum is denoted by L. Similarly, in linear motion, we talk about mass, but in angular or in rotational motion, we talk about inertia. See, why I am telling you this? Because when we will calculate the different formulas, we will see all the formulas of linear motion and rotational motion are same. Just the difference is that only the terms are different. That is, instead of P, we will be having L. Instead of A, we will be having alpha. So if you know these terms, and if you remember the formulas in linear motion, then you can directly calculate the formulas of rotational motion. Okay, so remember these terms. Okay, so now let us discuss further about rotational motion. So now, as you know, linear velocity v is defined as dx by dt. Similarly, angular velocity omega is defined as d theta by dt. So this is v is equals to dx by dt. Similarly, omega is d theta by dt. Now you can easily tell what will be angular acceleration. Again, as you know, a is equals to dv by dt in linear motion. Similarly, angular acceleration alpha will be equal to d omega by dt. So now as you can see, the formulas are exactly same, just different terms we are using. Instead of V or A, we have used omega or alpha. Okay. Now let us see a relation between V and omega, that is linear velocity and angular velocity. Okay. So let us suppose a particle is undergoing a rotation like this. Okay, so if initially it was here, then after some time it will come here. Let us say the displacement, or you can say angular displacement undergone by the particle is d theta. Okay, so there is a formula which is angle is equals to arc upon radius, where d theta is the angle, OA is your radius, and AA dash is your arc. Okay, so if I put angle to be d theta, arc to be AA dash upon radius. Okay, so now I am denoting radius by small r. Okay, so d theta is equals to AA dash upon r, or if you cross multiply it, you will get r d theta is equals to AA dash. Now if I divide both the sides by dt, so that will give you r d theta by dt is equals to AA dash by dt. Now d theta by dt, as I told you, this is nothing but omega, so r omega. Now AA dash upon dt, that is, see, AA dash is displacement, linear displacement. Okay, so you can say displacement upon time or distance upon time, that is nothing but velocity. Okay, so it is distance only. Okay, so distance upon time, as you know, it is speed or velocity, so r omega is v. So this is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, that is v is r omega, or in vector form you can write it as v is equals to omega cross r. Okay, generally there is always a mistake in this. Students always write v is equals to r cross omega. That is wrong. Always remember v is omega cross r. Okay. Okay, so now let us see a relation between angular acceleration and linear acceleration, that is a and alpha. Okay, so as we have calculated v is equals to r omega, just differentiate both the sides with respect to time. So you will get dv by dt is equals to d by dt of r omega. Now radius is a constant vector, so it will come outside. So you will get dv by dt is equals to r d omega by dt. Now again dv by dt is nothing but acceleration is equals to r, and d omega by dt, as I told you, is angular acceleration. So this is the relation a is equals to r alpha, or in vector form you can write it as a is equals to alpha cross r. And here also alpha will come forward. Okay, not r cross alpha but alpha cross r. So this is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, and linear acceleration and angular acceleration. Okay, so now let us talk about a very important term in rotational motion, which is moment of force or torque. Okay, so basically see, whenever in linear motion, whenever we apply force on any body, it starts moving. So therefore it has some linear displacement, right? But in rotational motion, what happens? I will give you examples also. When you will apply force on any particular body, it will start rotating, and so torque. So we say torque leads to the rotation. Okay, so it is also called moment of force or torque. Okay, so now it is defined as the product of magnitude of force and perpendicular distance between line of force and axis of rotation, that is product of force and perpendicular distance between line of force and axis of rotation, that is torque is Fd, if I am denoting d by the perpendicular distance. Okay, or you can say it is also defined by the cross product of radius vector and force, that is torque is equals to r cross f. As I told you, the formula for a cross b is ab sine theta. So r cross f can be written as rf sine theta. If you compare these two, from this you will get d will come to be r sine theta. Okay. So now let us see various examples, and let us see the proof of torque is equals to r cross f also. Okay, so let us see this example. Suppose OA is some rod, okay, and a force F is applied in this direction. Okay, so now if you calculate torque, that is, you know, RF sine theta, the angle between okay, so theta is the angle between radius vector and your force. So if you clearly see here, This is your radius vector and this is your F. So the angle between R and F, as you can see, is 0 degrees. So therefore in this case torque will come to be 0, that is there will be no rotation in this rod. Now let us see if the same force is applied like this, that is in this direction. Now can you tell me what is the angle between R and F? As you can see, the angle is now 90 degrees. Sin 90 is 1, so torque will come to be Rf. So there will be some torque and therefore this rod will rotate due to this application of force. So see, from these two you can conclude that we are applying same force, but just by applying that force in different direction, we are getting the value of torque to be different. So we can say in rotational motion, it is not the force alone, but how and where the force is applied, that is important. Okay, we are applying same force in these two cases, but because their direction is changed, the value of torque is completely changed. Now let us see some more complicated examples like this one. Again, this is the rod AOA, but now the force is applied like this, that is by making an angle theta with this direction. Okay, or you can say by making an angle theta with R, because see, this is the direction of R and this is the direction of F, so this is the angle between them. So we are saying now F is applied at an angle of theta with R. Okay, so now if this is theta and if I extend this line, this will also be theta, right? Now if you resolve this F, this component will be F cos theta and this component will be F sin theta. Now as I told you in first example, in this case angle between this R and this force is 0, so torque will be 0 due to this force. So torque will be there due to this force only, and the formula will be again R into F sin theta. Mark it first equation. Now clearly look here, if I extend this line and I draw a perpendicular on this line, so this D1 is nothing but perpendicular distance between line of force and axis of rotation. So axis of rotation will be perpendicular to the plane of paper, because see this in this case we will see that this rod will go rotating like this. So the perpendicular axis at axis at O perpendicular to the plane of paper is the axis of rotation. So D1 is nothing but the perpendicular distance between line of force and axis of rotation. Okay, so now torque is Rf sin theta. Now if in this triangle you calculate sin theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, perpendicular is D1 and hypotenuse is R. So sin theta is D1 upon R. Now if you calculate D1, that will come to be R sin theta. From here, if you see 1, R sin theta is D1. So torque is again F D1. That is, it is nothing but product of force and perpendicular distance between line of force and axis of rotation. Okay. So in this case, because the rotation is due to this force, therefore it will rotate in this direction, that is anti-clockwise direction. Now, again in this case, a force is applied at an angle theta with the R, but now it is towards left side. In this case, it was towards right. In this case, it is towards left. So again, you can resolve F. This will be F cos theta. This will be F sin theta. Again, torque will be Rf sin theta. Mark it 1. Again, I have drawn a perpendicular here. Okay, so same thing is there. Again, calculate sin theta. That will come to be D2 by R. D2 will come to be R sin theta. So comparing these two, you will get torque is F into D2. But now, because there is a torque due to this force, therefore it will rotate in clockwise direction. So see, in all the 4 cases that I have discussed, same force is applied, but the sometimes there is rotation, sometimes there is no rotation, and sometimes the rotation is in different directions, that is clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. So always remember, in rotational motion, how and where the force is applied is very, very important. Okay. Okay, so now let us discuss the next topic, that is power associated with torque. Okay, so as you know, to go in linear motion, to cover some distance or some displacement, we have to do some work. Okay, so similarly, to rotate any particle by d theta angle, some work is to be done. So in linear motion, as you write dw is f dx, similarly in rotational motion dw will be torque d theta. Okay, now if I differentiate it with respect to time, or you can so dw by dt will be equal to torque d theta by dt. Now as you know, work done upon time taken is power is equals to torque, and d theta by dt is nothing but omega. So power is equals to torque into omega. Now this is same as in linear motion. We study P is equals to Fv. Here instead of F we have torque, instead of V we have omega. So see, again the formula is same, only the terms are different. Okay, so the next is angular momentum. Okay, so angular momentum is defined as the cross product of radius vector and the linear momentum, that is r cross p, or you can write it as pr sine theta. A cross b is ab sine theta, or again you can write it as p into d. So d is your r sine theta, again the perpendicular distance. So we can say it is defined as the product of linear momentum p and perpendicular distance between line of linear momentum vector and axis of rotation. Okay, either you can define it like this, or simply you can say the angular momentum is defined as the cross product of radius vector and linear momentum vector. Okay, so now let us see a relation between angular momentum L and torque. So we have two relations now, that is L is equals to r cross p and torque is equals to r cross f. Okay, so let us differentiate this term with respect to t. So dl by dt will come to be d by dt of r cross p. Now there is a formula of cross product, that is d by dt of a cross b. This is the general formula that I am telling. Okay, this is equals to dA by dt cross b as it is plus a as it is cross dB by dt. That is, one time you will differentiate a, b will remain as it is, plus second time a will remain as it is and you will differentiate b. So if you use this general formula, in this case the answer will be C, dr by dt cross p plus r cross dp by dt. Now as you know, dp by dt by Newton's second law, it is force. So this term will become dr by dt cross p plus r cross f. Again, dr by dt is nothing but velocity. So this is v cross p plus r cross f. Again, linear momentum, as you know, is defined as the product of mass and velocity, that is mv. So I am taking m to be outside, so this will become v cross v plus r cross f. Now as I told you, I cross I is 0 because the angle between them is 0. Similarly, v and v cross v. Again angle between them will be 0 because they are same vectors, so therefore v cross v will be 0. So this term will be 0 and r cross f, as you know, it is torque. So dl by dt will come to be torque, that is differentiation of angular momentum with respect to time is nothing but torque. Okay. Okay students, so after going through today's lecture, you can do question number 4, 5, 6 and 7 from your NCERT book. Thank you.